Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Ask the Trade Pros. You know us, your favorite show where a couple of trade guys talk about, trade stuff. We're here to answer your questions about your HVAC, electrical, plumbing, and anything else in your home so that hopefully you keep your home running smooth. I'm Jordan.
And I'm Todd.
We've seen a spike in temperatures across Tucson recently, which means that those hot summer days are already here. We've all heard of winterizing your home, but out here in Tucson, we summerize our home. And this heat wave got us thinking, should homeowners in especially hot climates be doing anything special to summerize their home?
We've talked in previous episodes about the importance of AC maintenance prior to the hottest parts of the year. Today, we're going to change things up a little bit and expand to cover some things to do to make your home more pleasant in the summer.
Well, the number one thing here in Tucson is the fleet of Rocky Point or San Diego. But if you can't do that, what else we got, Todd?
Well, you can buy a pool, go in the pool, live in the pool.
Yeah, it's only $100,000 to put a pool in, but you know.
Well, most people don't want to be here at all during the summer.
Right.
So.
Just hide out in your house with the air conditioning on full blast.
Yeah. Make sure you have all your ceiling fans turned on.
So that's something I've ran into before where people don't understand what that switch on the ceiling fan does.
That's a good point. What is that switch?
So it's a reversal switch. Changes the way the blades turn. So I don't know if most people know this, but the blades go one direction for cool air and the other direction for hot air.
And what's that do?
When it's heating, you want to pull the air up, pull the hot air out of it that rose to the top of the roof, circulate your air through that, and then have it drop back down. When it's cooling, you want a downdraft, just a breeze blowing straight down to keep it from doing that.
Could tint windows, right? That could make your home a little more efficient, not letting that sun beat right in the house. Hopefully, if you have a newer house, you have low E windows, dual pane, triple pane, whatever the case is. But, you know, how many houses do we come across that still have those old single pane, hand crank windows?
We have a lot of
multi-glass.
I'm big on the solar screens. A lot of people don't understand the value of a solar screen. So that's that high, it's not just the same as just your window screen. It's that high UV blocking level screen. And they have different grades of it. It goes all the way, I've seen all the way from 50% blocking to 90% blocking. And you fabricate the screens that go over your windows and they're mounted outside the window, so they literally stop the heat before it gets into the window. Now, it will make the room darker, and it will make the room colder in the winter, but out here, that's not really an issue. But it does stop a tremendous amount of heat. I've put it on some of these well-built homes made in the 60s and 70s, single-pane windows, and you'll see a 5-degree temperature drop in a room.
Yeah. Blackout blinds, what about that?
That makes you feel cooler. It does keep the heat in the room, though, because it is inside the window.
Rolling shutters, take the house down to nothing. You can't see. It will be like you're in your own cave. And keep all that cool air inside.
Well, for those of you who haven't been in Tucson, Arizona, yes, you do want the cave in the summer, right? The sun becomes your enemy. You do everything you can to hide from it. You drive blocks just to get a shaded parking spot so you can walk from one covered parking to your garage to your air-conditioned building. There's some other summarizing stuff. I know we have we do a lot of plumbing and electrical, Todd, and air conditioning, and the certain parts, your electrical conduit, your outdoor plumbing, insulation, that all dries out from our sun and the heat. I know a lot of people will UV protect it, summarize it. They'll put out here, it's white coat, but you put some sort of coating over it to help protect certain items. So there's things people could do around their home for certain items like that.
Yeah, and even that, talking about the summer here, we have monsoon season too, right? So your roof is important during those downpours. And
roofers love
speaking
monsoon.
About white coating the roof, right? You want to make sure that your roof is also ready for the summer.
Right. So you clean debris off of it, make sure your scuppers or your drains flow smoothly. If you have a white roof, make sure that the roof is treated. And it's every couple of years, I guess. The white coat doesn't only last a few years, so you have to recoat it every few years.
Yeah, so what they say is a 10-year product, and here it's actually a 5-year product if you're lucky.
Yeah, on a good day. Yeah. If you got a lot of the tile roofs out here, you want to make sure all your tiles are in place, not missing one, don't have a gap there.
What about watering?
Beat the peak, Todd. Don't you remember this?
I don't. What is Beat the Peak?
Beat the Peak with Pete the Beak. It's an old Tucson, slogan or ad campaign to save water, right? Because in the summer, you don't want to water in Tucson. You don't want to water in the middle of the day. It evaporates before it actually sinks into the ground. So they used to have a whole song with a giant bird that...
How did that song go? I vaguely remember it.
I think you're hinting for me to sing it, but when we get off the podcast and we do karaoke, everyone's going to be like, no, we'll let you just say the slogan, which is Beat the Peak. So Beat the Peak was never water between 4 and 8, only water every other day. Todd, you look like Pete the Beak over here laughing at trying to get me to sing the song.
Oh, come on. Everyone wants to hear it. How'd it go?
Wait, should we play a beat?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it's Pete the Peak. He was the mascot of Beat the Peak. It was a campaign that talked about never water in the hottest time of the day, water in the early mornings, water late at night when the water would actually absorb into the ground. You'll save water that way. You'll use way less water because most of it evaporates if you water during the middle of the day. He had a later campaign where he talked about saving power, also cutting your energy use in the mid-afternoon.
Yep, TEP.
Yeah, when all the air conditioners are on their highest level, burning electricity. If you're on a payment schedule with the electrical company where you pay more for peak hours, then you're going to try to avoid using those hours. Some people are on the flat plan. They don't care.
Yeah, so regarding the water, there is options out there, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. Irrigation controller ratio, something like that. I have one at my house, and it's a smart system. So you hook it up to your Wi-Fi, and it automatically detects weather. So it knows if it's going to rain, it detects that, and it will adjust your watering schedule based on the weather. You also input your topography, where you're at, what type of soil you have, and it will automatically adjust based off of vegetation that you have and what you're trying to do in your soil, and water just based off of that. Now they even have integrated with it AI, of course, right? Everything is turning into AI now. So for just a little bit extra a month, you could have the AI integration that monitors around the clock rather than based off of a monthly schedule.
Wow. Does it tell you what kind of plants to plant too for the summer and the winter? And you can have a green garden?
I'm sure it does. I don't use it like that. It just asks what type of vegetation you have or what type of trees. So yeah, you do input that and it knows.
Wow. That's very helpful for summarizing your home or actually just saving water out here. We're very water conscious out here. So that's very useful to save water compared to the old way where you just, even now, drip irrigation, you just turn it on and let it drip till you think it's done and then you turn it off.
Yeah, it's a good system. So I put mine in last year and it tells you how much water you save, and I never had an issue with any of the plants or vegetation. They all look good year round, and during the winter time, obviously you're not watering, so I think I went 2 months in the winter without watering at all, and now they're beautiful and vibrant once again.
Wow, that's neat. For summarizing home in Tucson, there's also the standard care. You're going to want to get your AC maintenance checked up, see that you have no major problems that will stress them. These systems are designed for 105, 110. Now the newer one's 115. Out here, though, we can get hotter than that, so it's really hard on them. You just want to have them checked up, cleaned, maintenanced, new filters, all the things you need to do so that doesn't fail you on a hot summer day, because then no matter how dark that cave you live in is, it's still going to get warm real fast in Tucson. What else we got for summarizing the homes?
We talked about AC, and I know we've talked about this many times over prior episodes, but those AC filters are important. So during the summer, make sure you're monitoring those, making sure they're clean, and replacing those regularly.
You know what? One of the other things I noticed out here, we're talking about the ACs, that's we have monsoon season, and monsoon season has thunderstorms and a lot of electrical charges. So we've actually started putting surge suppressors on everything, whole home surge suppressors, AC surge suppressors, all that on the house. We've had a lot of times where compressors on the air conditioners go out because of power surges or the whole house, and it's just a flicker or it's static electricity in the air. People don't think about that, but out here, when you have a lot of thunderstorms, that's a good way to summarize your home. So we've covered ceiling fan adjustments, we've covered air conditioning maintenance, we've covered summer irrigation, utility use, power use. Well, we get a lot, and we get this at the shop too, Todd, is we get pest control and weed control, right? Summer's warm, things grow. You want to keep those trimmed down if you don't want bug infestations. There's different times of the year that different bugs come into your house. We know that out here in Tucson, rattlesnakes come out during the summer, bugs come out during the summer, weeds grow during monsoon season, so you want to prep for all that, especially if you're in a home area, say has an HOA, they're going to get you in trouble when your weeds sprout up overnight. So you may want to proactively get that treated on the ground. However you do it, whether you do it yourself or use a landscaper or whatnot.
So Jordan, with you had mentioned irrigation and watering and weed control. So with that weed control also comes, wildfire risk. On these hot summer days, our vegetation dries out. We have a lot of buffalo grass and other types of invasive grasses and weeds, and all that stuff can catch on fire real easily. So what you're going to want to do is, walk around your yard. If you live in a far out remote area, you want want to make sure you clear an area around your house and be prepared if something does happen. Unfortunately, fires do happen all the time.
Do that. Keep debris out of your yard. All the lessons, unfortunately, we've learned over the last couple of years with all the wildfires. Here in Tucson, around the outskirts, there are hills, and we've had wildfires approach the side of our neighborhoods. Keep the, like you said, keep the buffalo grass, keep the invasive grasses out, keep debris out of your house. Another thing out here, I know people in the other parts of the country don't have it, but we have to make sure that we don't have buckets of standing water because we'll get mosquito problems. Because in the summer, if you have places for water to pool up, then the mosquitoes pop up and the bugs pop up, and you have other problems with that because we have West Nile virus and some other things going on out here.
Well, if you want to beat the heat and keep your home running smoothly throughout the summer,
Beat the heat.
but you aren't sure how to get started, contact your local trusted trade pro. And if you want to know more about Pete the Beak, send in all of your requests and we'll try to get Jordan to sing this theme song, but we'll see how that goes. So please send in all those requests, and maybe if we get enough of them, he'll do it.